Good morning. I'd like to introduce Angie Sullivan. She's the Director of Social Emotional Learning and Mental Health Services for the Olathe School District, and Mitchell Cloud, he's a counselor from Fairview Elementary. And I just learned today he is the 2020 Olathe Counselor of the Year. Congratulations, Mitchell.
Thank you very much.
Angie, let's start with you. As you think back over the past few years, as we've worked together on these special programs to help our most vulnerable students be in school ready to learn, what stands out to you as a program that really helped you and your cohorts do a great job meeting the needs of these students?
As I think back over the years, one thing that really stands out to me is all the support for mental health through the Braden Robertson Fund. The Braden Robertson Fund provides funding for contract therapists in our district. We have approximately 16 contract therapists who work with students throughout our schools. These contract therapists serve any student with a mental health need who need mental health support through counseling and therapy. And if the student's family is unable to pay, the Braden Robertson Fund picks up the funding for those sessions. This allows all students to receive therapeutic services without the barriers of having to leave school and funding.
So Angie, can you think, without revealing any kind of circumstances or anything, can you give us an example of how a student might have benefited from one of those therapy sessions?
Sure. I think back last year, we had a young student, who lost a family member, actually a parent. And of course, during that time, the student was grieving, and the student needed some support to understand how to grieve. The student was acting out and showing behaviors that the student had not ever shown in class before. The other parent, who of course had lost a spouse, was also grieving and didn't know what to do. That student was able to get the support that the student needed during that time, and the family was able to receive that kind of wraparound care that the Olathe Public Schools is known for.
Gosh, I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to help that family. Mitchell, let's go to you. You're kind of on the front lines over there at Fairview Elementary. I know you deal a lot with our students, both remotely and in person. And then I think you probably deal a lot with their parents as well, because sometimes the school is that place in the community that parents feel like they can turn when they're really struggling. How are things going over at Fairview Elementary, and how can the foundation help?
Man, this year has been exceptional, to say the least. It's been such a challenge for a lot of our families that were already working really hard to support their families and working day in, day out to make sure that we're able to provide in the way that was necessary to help their families be successful. But when COVID hit and families weren't able to go to work, or they had to find childcare for their kids, it made things so much more difficult for the families that were already on the line, and then for other families that had never been on our radar before. We started finding out that other families were struggling, that they had been laid off, unemployment hadn't come through, and they just were not able to make rent. They were in danger of having their electricity and their water shut off. And that just makes an already extremely stressful time, just pushes it so far up and above what families could manage. And that takes a toll on the kids. They see their families stressed out, their parents stressed out, and it makes it really hard to learn in an environment that's already very different and new for them. The foundation has been just clutch, has just been so important to allowing us to support those families so that the parents can feel safe, calm, and secure in their homes, and then be able to pass on those that sense of security to their kids as well.
Good. Well, I know as we've worked together on different situations, we've been able to pull from a variety of funds that the foundation has. We've used the Wimmer Student Care Fund, which has been in existence since almost the beginning of the foundation. And when Dr. Wimmer retired, he helped us understand the need to be able to help families through these tough times. We also have a very special fund right now called the COVID-19 Student Assistance Fund, and that was a grant that we wrote to the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation, and they have allowed us to kind of come in with some extra special assistance that really is tailored to helping families that are struggling with COVID-related job loss and things like that. And I know we have a student health emergency fund and several other funds that, we're just really able to kind of tailor the support to what you need at the schools. And that's been very, very, very gratifying. I appreciate the work that you both do to help us make those things happen. So is there anything else you'd like to share before we end today with the audience watching our 23rd annual Autumn Breakfast today? Let's start with you, Mitchell.
Yeah, I had a little boy come to me and was nervous about coming to school. Was having a difficult time transitioning away from the time that he had been spending at home since COVID, and just casually mentioned that his mom had just changed jobs recently. Come to find out that had happened a couple of months ago. They had gone through all of their savings, and they were in a really, really tight spot in regards to bills and rent, and were at risk of becoming homeless and losing their housing. Through the foundation and supports and financial supports that the foundation provided, they were able to pay their rent, get caught up on their bills, and make it to the next paycheck. The mom was working really hard on getting a new job, but it's just a situation that no one could have anticipated, that they weren't ready for. I don't know if my family would be ready for if something like that were to happen to us. And through your gracious donations and support of the foundation was able to support this family and get them to a place where mom could truly connect with her son and help him feel safe and secure to come to school and learn to his full stability.
Well, thanks again, Mitchell and Angie, for joining us today. And if there's anything that we can do to help you do your job, you just give us a call.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.